So now we're back to the textbook 2.4, Simplifying Rational Functions. And this is where the fun begins, where you need to be able to use these factoring tools in order to simplify expressions. So the question would state something like, write the simplified expression. That just means simplify, right? They sometimes write things in ways that make it difficult. Stating the restrictions on the variables. So the question is, well, how do we have to restrict a variable, or why would we need to restrict a variable? So we're actually restricting the domain of the variable of the expression so that what is in the denominator is never equal to 0. So it's really hard to tell looking at this what that might be, but I'm sure you can see once it's in factored form, then we can figure out what would make each of those factors 0, just like you did in grade 10 when you were finding the zeros of the function, right? So here we go. We have to factor both the numerator and the denominator. One thing I will tell you right now is that you cannot divide these out. I've seen that way too many times in high school math. People just divide these things out. Oh, yeah, there's an x squared over an x squared. You can't divide that out. That would be like me saying, let me just get a scrap piece of paper here for a second to show you. It would be like me saying, oh, if I had 3 minus 1 over 3 plus 2, that would be equal to minus a half. Well, yeah, that's not true, is it? You know that 3 minus 1 would be 2, and 3 plus 2 is 5. It's equal to 2/5, not this. So the only time you can do something like that is when everything is multiplied together, like this. So if I had 3 times 2 divided by 3 times 5, and I divided these out, I would say my answer is 2 over 5. Now let's do it the long way. That would give us 6 over 15, which you can see divided both by 3 gives me 2 over 5. So this is yes, you can. Only when multiplication, everything has to be multiplied together. No dividing anything out over a plus or a minus sign. Okay, remember that. It's very important. Okay, now back to this. X squared minus 9. Difference of squares in the top. Square root of x is x. Square root of 9 is 3. I add them. I subtract it. That's it. In the denominator, I have a simple trinomial. Coefficient of x squared is 1. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to minus 6. I didn't leave much room here for that. Minus 6, and they have to add to minus 1. So if they multiply to a negative, one has to be negative, and they're going to add to a negative. So it's minus 3 and 2. Okay, so I have x minus 3 and x plus 2. So now you can see that these two will cancel out, and then I would simplify it to this. Now before I cross it out, I want to show you something important. X plus 2. So when I want to state what the restrictions are, restrictions must be stated as soon as you factor. So this is where you look here for restrictions. Because if you go ahead and divide these out, you might forget about one of them, right? Because this is going to divide it with this one, and that's why I ended up with this. So what can x not be equal to? And don't say x is equal to. It's what can it not be equal to. X is not equal to 3 and minus 2. So whatever makes each of these brackets equal to 0. If you have trouble doing that in your head, set them equal to 0 and solve. But I think it's pretty easy to figure those two out. Okay, this one over here, same kind of question. So I have 3x squared minus 3x cubed. So it looks like, oh, is it a difference of squares? But maybe it's just a common factor, right? There's a common factor there that I can pull out, and that would be each of these is divisible by 3x squared. So I'm going to take out a 3x squared. And 3x squared divided by 3x squared is 1. Don't make it 0. It doesn't divide into nothing. It has to expand back to this one. And minus, so I have 3x cubed divided by 3x squared. That's going to leave me with an x. And in the denominator, I have x cubed minus x. Well, common factor again is x, and then I would have x squared minus 1. And then you should say to yourself, oh, just a minute here. X squared minus 1, that's a difference of squares, right? That's x plus 1, x minus 1. So I'm going to do something I never do, and that's put two equal signs on the same line because I just don't want to run out of room here. So I have this in the top, and in the denominator I have x times x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, so simplifying this a little further, you can see that this x would divide into this. It's all multiplication now, right? So anything goes top and bottom as long as I take everything in the bracket and divide it out. So this x will divide out with one of these. So that gives me a 3x in the numerator. I'm going to bring it back over here. 3x in the numerator. And in the denominator, these things all kind of look kind of similar. And the question is, are they the same? Are any of these the same? And the way you can check is to put in a number that's not going to give you 0. Like don't put in 1 and say, oh yeah, it's 0. If I put in 2 here, 1 minus 2 would be negative 1. And if I put a 2 here, 2 minus 1 would be positive 1. So this divides into this one negative 1 times. Or the other way of looking at it is, let's say I take out a negative 1 out of this. Just factor a minus out of it. That would give me negative 1 plus x, which is the same as x minus 1. So this goes into this one, negative 1 times. So again, you can either write it as, you could take out a negative, and that would make it minus 1 plus x over x minus 1. I'm just looking at this part here, right? So you can see that minus 1 plus x is the same as x minus 1, right? They would divide out. But an easier way to do that, like I said, is sub x equals 2 in here and see what happens. So if I put in a 2, I got a negative 1. If I put a 2, I got a positive 1. So that means this factor will divide into this one negative 1 times. Okay, so I have a negative here. I'm going to put it out front. That negative 1 comes here. 3x, I divided the x's out, and I'm left with over x plus 1. Now, what is the restriction? What are the restrictions on the variable? And remember, I said you have to look here, right here, after you factored. So little eyeballs here. Oops. Look here. What are the restrictions? What can x not be equal to? So x is not equal to 0. What makes this one 0? Negative 1. And this one, 1. And there you go. So you have to be careful. You have to watch for these ones, okay? If they kind of look the same, they've got the same, they both have one negative, but it's in front of the other variable or the other number in the question. Always try substituting. Like I said, though, if you plugged in 1, you would have got 1 minus 1 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0, and you'd say, oh yeah, they're the same thing. No, don't end up with a 0 here. It has to be some integer number. So try something like 2, like I said. So that gave me a minus 2 and a minus 1 and a plus 1. Okay, moving on to this one over here. Minus 2m cubed over n, 6m squared, n 7. So these are both little monomials. It's kind of looks like a really easy question, but one that people tend to make mistakes with because they're not careful with their exponent laws. So when I do these questions, the first thing I would say was, well, let's simplify this minus 2 over 6. So minus 2 over 6 is the same as, well, the 2 goes into 6 3 times, right? So I still have a negative up here. So I'm going to go 2 into 6 goes 3 times. The negative stays there. Now the m's and the n's, generally you leave your solution with positive exponents. So all I'm going to do is look to see which one has the most m's here. This one, right? 3 in the top, 2 in the bottom. So 2 would cancel out with 2 of those and leave me with just an m. And in the ends, I have 7 down here and 1 up here, so that would leave this one with 6. So now, once you've done all that, it kind of gets kind of messy, so you have to be really careful that you don't miss something. So I have a minus, and I have 1m up here, and in the denominator I had 3n to the 6. Okay, so it's all very nicely simplified. And now what I need to do is figure out what are the restrictions on m and n. So remembering that in a rational expression, you cannot have 0 in the denominator. So that means m is not equal to 0 and n is not equal to 0. Can't be zeros. Okay, so you could have done this a long way. You could have written out m, n, and then crossed out 2, and then you'd know what you had left. But that's a little tedious for grade 11. Okay, over to this one here. Ooh, it looks really messy, doesn't it? 20, 15, 5, and I have a 5 in the bottom. I'm looking at the variables, mn, mn's, lots of m and n's. That's almost like M&M's, chocolate. Okay, so I have to divide each term by 5 and each term by mn. You could do it 2 ways. You could factor out a 5mn here and then just cancel them out, or you can individually divide each one by 5mn. That's what I would do. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. I had 4 m's up here. I'm dividing by 1. That gives me 3 left. I had 2 n's divided by 1 n leaves me an n. Positive, a negative divided by positive is a negative, and it'll be 3. 15 divided by 5. I would have 1 m left in the top and 2 n's. And this divided by this, don't say it's 0, it's 1. Goes into it 1 time. It's like, what's 5 divided by 5? You wouldn't say 0, right? So you divide something by itself, you get 1. Now what are the restrictions? Well, we look here. M is not equal to 0. N is not equal to 0. Okay, let's flip her over here and do a couple more. Here we have simplify and state the domain. So the domain just says, what can x be? What can we put in for an x and get an answer for f at x? Okay, so you need to factor. All of these questions in the next 2.4, 5, I don't know if it goes to 6, same thing. Oh yes, because we add and subtract, multiply and divide them. So you have to factor the numerator. So I'm looking for a product of first and the last. It's a simple trinomial, minus 8 and a sum of 7. If the factoring is going too fast for you, go back and take a look at my lessons where I did the review on factoring. So 2 numbers that multiply together give you negative 8, and the same 2 numbers add to give you 7. Well, if they're going to multiply to a negative and add to a positive, that means 1 is negative, 1 is positive. You can't multiply 2 negatives and get a negative. So they're 1 apart, so I'm going to guess it's going to be 8 and 1. But one of them has to be negative and one has to be positive. So if my sum is positive, that means that the little one has to be negative. So I have 8 and minus 1. So over here, x plus 8, x minus 1. Okay, and in the denominator, I have 2 times 2 minus x. Factor out a 2, gives me 1 minus x. And here we are back at this kind of situation. Is this the same thing? X minus 1, 1 minus x. So again, plug in. You can plug in a different number. Let's try 3 this time. 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Aha! They give the same answer, but different signs. So that goes into here, negative 1 time. And I have minus. Now, if you're going to leave this in brackets, you would write minus bracket x plus 8. Or you could say minus x minus 8 without the brackets over 2. And the question again is, what is the domain? Okay, so we'll say the domain is the set of all x's such that x, what can x not be equal to here? So you look here, what makes this bracket 0? X is not equal to 1, and x can be an element of real numbers. Okay, I did that in the domain and range lesson from chapter 1. And the last we're going to do, simplify and state the restrictions on the domain. Same kind of question. 4x squared minus 16y squared. Okay, so the first thing you should notice here is that there's a common factor. Don't just whip into it and say, oh, it's a difference of squares. It will be, but we need to factor out a 4 first. So I'm going to take out 4, and I have x squared minus 4y squared. And in the denominator, so this is one of those, it's a simple trinomial, but there's a y in it. So you remember that that just means we're going to have x and y's in each of these brackets. So multiplies, I've got a product of minus 6 and a sum of 1. Two numbers that multiply to give me negative 6. Same two numbers add to 1. You're probably guessing 3 and 2. So 3, 2. But they have to multiply to a negative and add to a positive. So that means the 2 must be negative. So I have x plus 3 y's and x minus 2y. Okay, so far so good. Now right here you could start figuring out what the restrictions are. Remember, the restrictions happen as soon as you factor. So that's going to be my little eyeballs here, right here. Okay, look here for the restrictions. But we'll do that in a minute. In the top, we're going to factor it. It's a difference of squares now. That's x plus a 2y times x minus 2y. And that makes me very happy because look what's in the denominator. Ooh, yeah. The nice thing about these questions is when you get to cancel all the things that are the same in the top and bottom. Remembering that they must be in factored form before you divide things out. You cannot divide around a plus or minus sign. Everything must be multiplied. Bingo. That's my answer right here. You do not divide these out in the end. Okay, this is it. Okay, so I'm not going to write that out again. That would just be a waste of time. I've already stated it here, but I need to know what my restrictions are. So this is a little tricky because it's not like x is equal to negative 3 here. I have x plus 3y, and this is the way you can do it the long way, right? Is equal to 0. So x, if x was equal to minus 3y plus 3y, that would give me 0. So for my domain, I'm going to say x is not equal to minus 3y. It can't be equal to it. Okay, this is what makes it 0. This is a restriction over here. So what makes the bracket 0 would happen when x was 3y, right? This is a restriction over here. Okay, so that's one of them. And I have x minus 2y. So I'll do the same thing here, just x minus 2y is equal to 0. If x was equal to 2y, that would be 0. So x cannot be equal to 2y. X is an element of real numbers. Done. Okay, there you go. That's how you work with simplifying rational expressions. Make sure you do lots of the homework exercises. Check the back of the book. Make sure you're doing it right. If you have any ones that you're having a real problem with, or you need some help, or the teacher said, do this for homework, and you don't know what you're doing, write a note below. I'll be happy to answer it for you. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you're finding this is helpful, so I'll know whether or not you want me to continue with this little journey that I'm on. Bye for now.